Hey guys, today is Friday, June 6th, and the energies in the day adds up and reduced to number 3 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. So when it comes to today's energy, the moon is still in Libra, and the moon is a part of a trine as it is speaking positively to Mars in Leo, Mercury, Sun, and Jupiter in Gemini. So there feels, like yesterday's energy, the inner world still feels in this optimistic social place. With the moon in Libra, the moon is our inner world and how we like to be nurtured, how we nurture others. So the moon is in a space where relationships are important, relating to other people are important, not wanting to rock the boat is also important when the moon is in Libra. It's like we're nurtured at the thought of connection. Being in a connection and being a part of something is very important when the moon is in Libra. The moon in Libra, though, is squaring Pluto in Aquarius. Yesterday, it was positive energy, where yesterday, some changes and things are happening in friend groups and it works. We're okay with it. Even though there were some things around communication, which still are happening today. When I say some things around communication, I get the feeling of someone sacrificing themselves and avoiding saying the hard thing, because when they look at the bigger picture, as far as they're concerned, it's like, I would rather have this connection than to speak up and create disharmony as far as the connection is concerned. But with the moon squaring Pluto in Aquarius, the moon squaring Pluto in Aquarius brings me to say the inner world feels challenged as something is happening when it comes to our friend groups, and it feels almost as, what's the feeling like? There's tension. There's tension when it comes to something having to do with friend groups, maybe some kind of a power struggle where friend groups are concerned, or say you're a part of a certain community and you enjoy partaking in this thing in the community, and within the community, you might find yourself feeling like you're being pressured to think a certain way, to approach things in a certain way, and it feels as if like you're a part of this group, or you relate to these people over here, but then you're a part of that community, and that community that you're a part of, they have some strict rules or some strict expectations, and there's this feeling of being torn as far as the moon is concerned. There's this feeling of being torn. The moon is a part of a T-square. It's also opposing Chiron in Aries. And with Chiron in Aries, Chiron reflects our wound. And with Chiron energy, Chiron reflects the wound that is like you'll spend a lifetime just bringing comfort and peace where this wound is concerned. And with Chiron and Aries, it's a collective wound where we are all dealing with collective wounds around us as individuals. How we've been wounded, the things that we've been through, and just, coming to terms with this is why I am the way I am. Not in a way of like making excuses for one's behavior, but like understanding, okay, I've been through this and I've experienced that. And it has helped me to, it has brought me to this path. It has brought me to being where I am now. And Venus is in Taurus, but it still conjuncts Chiron and Aries. So there's this value of, I value who I am, but with Venus and Taurus, we also value stability, foundation, and we also value like the traditional safe ways and how things work. So I feel like that could be a little bit contradicting for some, in the sense that I could see a person going through some things after reflecting on whatever it is that they went through growing up, or a situation where they may have felt abused or taken advantage of. And it's like they feel torn because it's like these things did happen to me, but at the same time, I do value my community. I do value my family. I don't want to have to separate or make a decision having to do with separation. But I could see how in some cases, I think of the person who's in therapy and they're working on themselves, and it's like they see, I see why I am the way I am, but nothing has changed within the family dynamic, and feeling torn as to how do I still be a part of it, but recognizing that there's some dysfunctional, toxic things that continue to go on. So do I just go along to get along because I value the family dynamic, the family structure, or do I choose me? I feel like with Chiron in Aries and Venus in Taurus, it's that weird dynamic where it's like I value myself and the things I've been through. I value the family, but I feel like with that dynamic, it could cause a person to choose to stay stagnant. Or come to the place where now I understand why things are the way they are, but I don't want to make any changes. It's like the person coming to a realization that, okay, eating this way has caused me health issues, and do I choose to just take the medication for the rest of my life and continue eating this way? I'll take the medication for the rest of my life and continue eating this way. It's like, that's how I see, like, you know, that's a way for me to explain the whole Chiron conjunct Venus energy, where Venus is in Taurus, Chiron is in Aries, but that is opposing Moon in Libra. And Moon in Libra, of course, like I said earlier, is nurtured at the thought of the connection. So while we're valuing some things about ourselves, it feels like we're torn, where it's like some things are changing, where I'm waking up to some things about myself, and I'm waking up to some things about the groups that I associate myself with. But I like the feeling of connecting and having others around. So it's like, do I ignore everything that I've been through and everything that I feel so that I could have others around? Or do I choose me? I feel like that's a big thing that's coming up when it comes to today's energy. When it comes to the spirit guidance, we have the hummingbird, and the hummingbird came out in the reversal position. So the hummingbird coming out in the reversal position, the image that I have in mind looking at the card is like, you know, someone closing their ears. It's like, I feel like there's something coming up today around selective hearing, or something around communication and information being passed along in a way where it feels like you're not getting the big picture, you're not hearing everything. Something is unclear. And when I look at, say, Mercury and Gemini, I could definitely see that as Mercury and Gemini, we could be so quick to pass on the information to the point that we didn't even check to make sure we got the whole picture or we got things clear. We were just so quick to push out whatever it is that, that came our way. So when it comes to today's energy, today is the 6th and the 6th month. So there's big emphasis around community, around relationships, around connections. Also, too, when it comes to today's energy, you know, we're paying attention to us in relations to others. Today's a day in the month of June on a whole, but especially today, is one to redefine your definition of success. That is something that we need to do often. However often is up to you. But for me, the reason why we have to do it often is because we're consistently changing, we're consistently growing. The things that you enjoyed a year or 2 years ago, you probably don't enjoy those things anymore. You're not passionate about those things anymore. Or the way you saw yourself, I should say, a year, 2 years ago, you probably don't see yourself that way anymore. So because that has changed, your definition of success has changed. Your goals might have changed. And for some people, you know, you might have changed a lot, but you never stop to redefine your definition of success based on how much you've grown. And for that, you might have some outdated definitions of success and find yourself just feeling like, you know, life just feels like something's missing, and something's missing might be that you're pursuing something that you're truly not connected to on the inside. You feel no connection when it comes to the thing you're pursuing, or you could be making progress. You could be achieving goals, but you feel like empty. There is no connection to the goals you're achieving. And that's because, you know, that definition of success is outdated. And in most cases, it probably doesn't belong to you. And it's something that society told you to pursue because, you know, society says we celebrate people who pursue this path. When it comes to the tarot, we have the Page of Pentacles in the upright position. With the Page of Pentacles in the upright position, to me, the page matches the day, adding up or reducing to the number 3 vibration. Because the number 3 vibration, the day adding up or reducing to the number 3 vibration, the number 3 brings in some new beginning. It brings in something tangible. And when you look at this page, she's holding this tangible thing. So for some today, something new might be coming in as, you know, you started a new job. There's a new opportunity to make money, or money comes in a way that you didn't expect it. With the Page of Pentacles in the upright position coming out, to me, it's turning a page to create something more stable for yourself, something more secure, something that belongs to you. So when it comes to today's energy, and Venus entered into Taurus today, and we're valuing things that are more tangible, things that feel more secure. But you want to make sure when it comes to that thing that feels more secure, it's secure because it is important to you. It means a lot to you. Because our definition of security and stability for me are changing. Because I remember, say, way back, I used to look at, say, real estate as everything. And real estate can be beneficial. But like after looking at and it's not even funny, it's a nervous laugh. But after looking at the whole situation in Cali, or even, it just makes me wonder, like when it comes to owning certain things, do you own it as long as, you know, the powers that be decide that they want it? And when they decide that they want it and natural things happen and you don't longer have it anymore, like how does that work? So it's like for me, observing things in the world and just being that person that loves to question everything. You know, I have weird thoughts like that that probably don't make sense, that are probably ridiculous, that are probably silly, but I couldn't help but looking at the patterns of Hawaii and Cali and the natural things that happened and the people that owned or thought they owned and had what they had only for, you know, something to happen and they don't have it anymore. Now they're misplaced. And it's like, do you only own it until others decide, you know, the powers that be decide that they want it? So for me, with Uranus transiting Taurus, and it's pretty much at the end of it, I feel like some of us have grown to see security and stability different. And for me, that's the case, because at one point, like I used to see things different when it comes to real estate. And now I see it a little bit different from the changes that has happened. But with today's energy, Page of Pentacles in the upright position, yes, that brings me to some of us having some realization about how to create more stability and security in our world. For someone, it could be financial opportunities coming in or entering into a more stable time in your life. When it comes to today's energy, though, you want to watch out for two things. The first thing I already spoke on, where you want to make sure your definition of success is your own, because today's a day where you could find yourself just feeling not so good about yourself because maybe you feel like you don't look the part, you don't weigh the part, you don't own enough things to make you don't own enough things to say that you're good enough, or your titles, your status, or maybe your home is outdated where you're living, it's not enough, or your car or whatever. Like today's a day where we could get lost in the material side of things. Let's pause for a bit. I am proud of the services that I offer and excited to tell you about them. If it would be your first time booking with me, then I recommend the natal chart and numerology awareness coaching session. For a while, that was the only service I offered, along with the 30 minutes tarot reading, which is still available if you're interested. I noticed the pattern. At the end of the natal chart and numerology coaching sessions, some of you would ask me for a follow-up service options for additional clarity and guidance to assist you with whatever you're going through at the moment. I kept saying, I'll look into it. I don't know why it took me so long. Finally, I have created that option along with the service option to book a solar return chart reading for those of you who are strategic and like to plan ahead. Everything you need to know is within the description box below. Let's get back into the video. And feel like we're not enough, we're not good enough, we're not doing enough based on that. And then the second thing is with the energies in the day adding up and reducing to the number 3 vibration on a day like today, we could easily jump from one project into another project. Just like, you know, you had an idea to do something and before you know it, you know, you've dived into this new thing, and that could be a good thing, you know, if it's something that you're truly into. But, you know, take baby steps. Like for me, the other day, I woke up and felt this inspiration to create hair accessories. And I went to the store and I bought like just some sample of fabric, and I bought everything that I needed and I started creating it. And in the middle of it, I'm like, no, this ain't for me. And I completed everything because I said, I'm just going to gift them all to my nieces, but I completed everything. I didn't start and stop because completed everything helped it to set in for me that you don't want to do this. you don't want to do this. And that's the thing with the number 3. It's like, you know, you get the inspiration to want to jump into something, and it's so easy to jump into it and not complete it, but I force myself to see it through. So, you know, you might get that inspiration today. If you do, challenge yourself to just start with a sample of a thing and see it through, so it could really set in that this is your thing or it's not your thing. Either way, it was a pleasure sharing this message with you. I would love to hear from you, and you could do so by dropping me a yellow heart in the comment box below. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.